and validated designs, you can right-size your deployment on high-performing yet energy-efficient infrastructure while protecting valuable IP and sensitive data.
We want to make it easy for our customers to adopt technology. Our Dell Professional Services help business navigate the AI journey from strategy to execution, and our end-to-end portfolio of APAC subscription solutions empower you to scale AI on your own terms.
Look, AI shouldn't be complicated. We take the complexity out of AI so you can focus on what matters most, delivering results. Experience AI now. Make it easy with Dell Technologies.
I want to begin by saying thank you to our customers and partners. Your trust and collaboration are at the heart of everything we do and inspire us to become your most essential technology partner. As we navigate this era of rapid innovation, one thing is absolutely clear. AI is transforming the way we do business. We are seeing AI adoption in Asia-Pacific grow twice as fast as any other digital technology investment. At this pace, the question is no longer why AI, but how to make it work and fast. At Dell Technologies, we are committed to making AI powerful, easy to implement, and secure. We do this with the Dell AI Factory that combines AI-optimized infrastructure with an open ecosystem of partners and expert AI services to help you move from experimentation to real-world impact. Whether running AI in devices, at the edge, or across multi-cloud environments, Dell Technologies provides the flexibility, security, and scalability to make AI easy and work for you.
AI is more than just technology. It's a catalyst for innovation, advancing human progress like never before. Our commitment in doing so focuses around creating solutions that are tailored for modern IT demands, whilst enabling a more sustainable future. By 2030, for every metric ton of our product a customer buys, 1 metric ton will be reused or recycled. And more than half of our product content will be made from recycled, renewable, or reduced carbon emissions material. Our latest PowerEdge servers, equipped with smart power and cooling technologies, deliver reliable cooling and double the performance per watt. This empowers data centers to achieve significant energy savings, reduce environmental impact, and enhance performance. Whether you're modernising your workplace at the edge with AI PCs or modernising your infrastructure, we're committed to making that a reality in a sustainable, future-forward way.
Just as physical factories fueled the Industrial Revolution, AI factories will power the AI revolution. The power of a factory lies in what it produces, and the AI factory produces business outcomes powered by use cases. Dell Technologies simplifies the deployment and scaling of those AI use cases and applications with our validated solutions. Data is the raw material that powers the AI factory, and an organization's most valuable data is often on-premise or at the edge. The Dell AI Factory brings AI to your data to minimize latency, lower costs, and ensure sensitive information is secure. The Dell Data Lakehouse, an open and modern data lakehouse, helps to eliminate data silos and accelerate insights and democratize data analytics. Infrastructure forms the foundation of every AI factory. From Dell PowerEdge servers, the ultimate AI powerhouse, to Dell PowerScale storage, offering secure, flexible, and efficient scale-out NAS, to the robust Ethernet fabrics Dell is recognised as a leader for AI infrastructure solutions. Now, it should be noted there is no one-size-fits-all AI solution. With the Dell AI Factory and validated designs, you can right-size your deployment on high-performing yet energy-efficient infrastructure while protecting valuable IP and sensitive data.
We want to make it easy for our customers to adopt technology. Our Dell Professional Services help business navigate the AI journey from strategy to execution, and our end-to-end portfolio of Apex subscription solutions empower you to scale AI on your own terms.
Look, AI shouldn't be complicated. We take the complexity out of AI so you can focus on what matters most, delivering results. Experience AI now, made easy with Dell Technologies.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, exciting things are about to happen. Now, to ensure that you have the best view and experience the full impact of our presentation, we would like to invite you to kindly take up the front seats. As you can see, we have an exciting turnout for today's event. Of course, I see that we still have a few more empty seats at the first and the second row. So if you are unsure where to sit, you can always seek help from our event team, all right? In the meantime, we kindly ask your kind cooperation in switching your mobile into silent mode, because your full attention is greatly appreciated during this presentation. Of course, if you need to pick up an urgent call, we would appreciate if you could urgent outside. Now, after the session, we also like to invite you to complete our brief survey form. Simply screenshot the completion page to receive an exclusive gift as you depart. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Dell Technologies AI Made Easy, from vision to value in partnership with AMD. If you guys are feeling great, please give yourself a big round of applause. Come on, let me feel energy. Perfect. Allow me to introduce myself. My name is Agnes, and I'm delighted to keep you company as your host on this insightful morning. On behalf of Dell Technologies and AMD, thank you so much for taking the time, braving the traffic to join us right here as we delve into the world of artificial intelligence and its transformative power made easy by Dell Technologies and AMD. Now, ladies and gentlemen, as the invitation highlighted, the AI investments in the APJC region are projected to reach a staggering $110 billion by the year of 2028. Now, this underscores the immense potential and the critical need for businesses like yours to harness the power of AI. So today, we are here to show you how Dell Technologies, with the cutting-edge server technology powered by AMD, is simplifying this journey, taking you from vision to tangible value. So over the next few hours, we will explore Dell's broad AI portfolio, spanning from the edge to the cloud, and how our PowerEdge AI servers fueled by AMD, along with our storage, networking, data management, and data protection solutions can help you to accelerate your AI goals. So if you guys are ready to kick off events, can you please give yourself another big round of applause? All right. Great, so to officially kick off our event today and to share Dell Technologies' vision for making AI easy, please join me in giving a warm welcome to Mr. Saravanan Krishnan, the Managing Director of Dell Technologies Malaysia, up on stage to deliver his welcome keynote. A big round of applause.
Selamat pagi, selamat datang, selamat Ramadan. Thank you everyone for being here. I hope you like my outfit. We're all in a festive season now, right? So, listen, once again, thank you so much for being here. I know that it's a Ramadan time, but really appreciate the fact that you make time to be here with us to celebrate the success that we have had in Malaysia specifically. I'm sure when you were having your break outside, you would have probably realized that this year is our 30th anniversary celebration for Dell Malaysia. So we all should be very proud of it. Come on, give yourself a round of applause. 30 years of innovation, everyone, right? 30 years of being here in Malaysia. Last year we celebrated our 40th year as Dell Technologies globally. This year is 30th anniversary. I think I'm personally very proud of it as well, leading my team members to greater success and also innovation. So today we are here to talk about exactly that, innovation. The journey that we've made together, right, in Malaysia. Thanks to the support of our partners, I must say at this point in time, thanks to AMD for being here and sponsoring this event as well. And also, our partners in general, our customers, my colleagues, right, who have been very instrumental to the success that we've had in Malaysia. So, our whole AI journey started way back, actually, think about it. Of course, there's a lot of momentum that we saw in the last 24 months. And we were probably, and it's accelerated so much. We've come a long way, despite the fact that it's just been 24 months. Now, there is a vision that we built for ourselves, for our customers and our partners, and we want to realize this vision together collectively with you. And as you've seen the video just now, and the theme of this event today is to make AI easy. AI should not be complicated. Just think back, right? Just reflect back on 10, 20 years ago, all the various inflection points we've had. The internet boom, right? And of course, many other technologies that came in, blockchain and so on. At that point in time, everybody was fearful of what's going to happen, right? The .com, and some of us would have been in the time frame as well. What's going to happen? Is everything going to collapse, right? But look how far we've come, right? And we should not be afraid of AI. We have seen an inflection point. You can call it a generational shift as well. That's what we are seeing today. Now, we've got a fantastic lineup of speakers and topics that we want to walk you through. I really encourage you to spend time with us throughout the day and spend time with my colleagues, my partners as well, and experience the energy that we all feel collectively, right? So now, besides the whole, I realized I didn't bring my clicker actually. All right, thank you. So besides the whole idea around innovation, I think the commitment is also to enable the society to progress. And there's a lot of things that we are doing today in Malaysia to help us do that, both with enterprises, with small and medium enterprises, with large corporations, as well as the government, right? And part of that is to enable the whole community, right, to move forward together, right? Because the success depends on how you are enabled. Now, today the competition is not about, whether between AI and us, is whether are you AI enabled or not. If you're AI enabled, perfect, right? You're out there to kind of build the kind of success that we want to see in this nation. So we are excited to talk about a couple of things today. There's going to be a launch event, there's going to be 17G server launch and so on. right? As we celebrate this milestone, before I move into my session proper, I just want to say thank you again, right, for being here, and looking forward to making sure that we are partnering together going forward. Now, let's kind of reflect about where we are today, right? I kind of spoke about it just now. So you can break up the AI journey that we've had together in three phases, right? One is the pre-gen AI market, right? That's before, that was like more than 24 months ago, maybe 36 months, right? And then you have the large language model training market. And then you have the enterprise market. Now, if I were to build this out, if you look at the pre-gen AI market, we call it the front end for AI systems, right? And this was the time prior to generative AI came in, there was predictive AI, right? And they formed the front end of the AI systems. And then, as we progress into this, what's happening today around large language models, high quality open models and technologies being built. And I think all of us are savvy enough to understand what's going on, right? With OpenAI, with Google coming in and doing the stuff, right? And many others. And today we are partnering with the likes of Hugging Face and Llama 2, and many others are coming in. And today, even in Dell, we have our own sales chat, our own chatbot, right? Which we use to help our customers progress in their journey. Now, when they come together, we are here to kind of enable and make progress with the enterprise market. Now, what is the enterprise market? Right? Enterprise market doesn't mean that you must be a big conglomerate, right? Or what is enterprise AI? Let's talk about enterprise AI. It doesn't have to be a big organization. Enterprise AI is all about how do you look at your critical systems and processes, right? It could be a medium-sized company, that's fine. But you have your critical processes and tools that you need to make sure that you are building a competitive advantage versus the competition, right? It's all about applying AI to the most impactful processes in your most important areas to improve the productivity of the organization. Productivity is one of the primary use cases, right, or problems that we're trying to solve, right? And it's a journey. There will always be challenges along the way, but we need to be, even for us in Dell, right, we are going through this process ourselves, right? There will be changes, there will be adaptation that you need to have and so on. But at the end of the day, it's all about how you adapt this technology to your processes and tools, which you cannot run away from, right? Now, but we also want to make it easy, right? Before we get there, we're going to ask ourselves, what problem are we trying to solve and how do you do it, right? So it all starts with two basic questions, right? The Dell AI journey starts with two basic questions which you have to ask yourself. First, what do you actually need to do? And in order to answer that question, you've got to go top down, right? What is so unique about your business? What is so unique about what you do for your business? Right? Ask yourself, right? What problem are you trying to solve? Are you trying to solve a problem that will have an outcome, right? Or are you just trying to solve a problem for the sake of solving a problem, right? Because somebody asked you to do it. Do you know the outcome? What specific processes are you trying to change with AI, right? Is it to improve your time to market, to improve productivity, to improve customer experience? What is it, right? That's the first question you should ask yourself. What do you need to do? The second question is, how do you do it, right? Now, that is a bottom-up approach, where you try to find patterns in all the things that you do in your organization, right? Every use case doesn't need to have a unique AI tool as well, right? And then you establish a modern data foundation. You want to make sure that you have a rinse and repeat approach as well. You don't want to have a solution that only solves one particular use case. You want to have a modern data foundation that helps you to set yourself up for success for all the different use cases that you want to have, right? And then, of course, the most important question is also, do you build it yourself? Do you buy it? Or do you just compose it through partners, right? So, now, if you bring it together, you'll answer both questions, by the way, right? In your organization. This, by bringing it together, you are in a position to understand what are the AI capabilities you can actually have in an organization, right? Whether you want to have a retrieval augmented generation RAG chatbot, whether you want a content generation, you want to simplify coding to having a coding assistant, whether you want a data management solution, whether you want an analytics solution. So both questions will help you to address some of these AI capabilities that you need to have to solve some of these problems. I hope it sounds simple, but I know it can be complex, right? And you see a lot of heads nodding, right? I make it sound simple. But that's why we're here, right? We want to help you take the complexity out of the equation. How do we do it? We understand the process. In Dell, we had 900 different use cases, right? We are in the client solutions business, as you know, our desktops, laptop solutions. We are in the data center business, we are in the edge business, we are in the cloud business, right? And we have a supply chain that we need to resolve across the ecosystem. So we understand the complexity that we go through as a result of what our customers go through. So we have 900 use cases. So, but the 900 use cases, if you want to infuse AI into it, we need to define the processes, right? So if you look at what you see on the diagram, on the chart here, is that here we talk about scalability, we talk about accessing what's the differentiators, how can you collect some of the use cases, determine some of the processes to improve the AI, and so on and so forth, establish a modern data foundation, choose what AI capabilities, I spoke about it just now, right? And what is ROI you are trying to create. Now this is the biggest challenge. Some of you are in this room already embarking on AI use cases. Now, you are boss man, I'm asked to do it, right? So, hey, go and I give you 6 months, go and run a project, right? Figure out how this is going to help you. But it's not about you going and doing something for the sake of doing it, right? You have to look at how do you measure the return, what's the ROI associated with it, right? So, we have defined the AI process. Now, the AI process by itself is ineffective. We need to have a solution, right? And this is where the Dell AI Factory comes in, and I'm going to steal the thunder of my colleagues who's going to talk about this, and this is actually my last slide anyway. It's kind of set the stage, right? How do you make AI easy? How do you drive from vision to value? By taking the complexity out. And how do we do it? We have a factory, not a literal factory floor, but a capability in itself. We have a comprehensive set of infrastructure, a comprehensive open ecosystem, and services, not just with Dell Technologies, but in partnership with our partners. But at the end of the day, it starts with you understanding your problems, what use cases, what problem you want to solve, and do you have an understanding of where your data resides, data residency, data sovereignty. All of this comes into play as well. How much of data is sitting in the cloud, how much is on-prem, right? And how much is sitting in the edge. So that rationalization process is something that we can help you with. And it's a journey, like I said. It's a series of activities you've got to do to get to the end point. So I'm going to just leave you with that and allow my colleagues to share a little bit more about why you're here today, how we can help AI, how you to make AI simple, simplify it. The key thing is that my ask of all of you in this room is have an open mind, right? We're all here to learn, including us from you. And don't be afraid of AI, right? We're all here to help you. Challenge us, bring us to your team members, your managers, your leadership. We're happy to sit. And right here is me and my team, but I've got people behind us to support us as well in front and back. So we are here to help you. So once again, thank you so much for being here. I hope that you enjoy the rest of the day, and see you later in the day as well. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Saravanan, for the inspiring welcoming remark and highlighting Dell Technologies' commitment to our customers, especially as we celebrate our 30th anniversary. By the way, that's a lovely outfit. All right. Now, building on that foundation, our next speaker will delve into the crucial aspects of designing modern data centers that are purpose-built for the demands of artificial intelligence. Let us welcome Mr. Miguel Rivera, Director, Data Center Solutions from Dell Technologies, to the stage to share with us more. Big round of applause.
Okay, well, selamat pagi to everyone. And Sarah, love your shirt, man. I need to get one of those. Okay, so, well, good morning, everyone. My name is Miguel Rivera, and I lead the Infrastructure Solutions Group over here in Malaysia, right? I work and collaborate very closely with Sarah and the entire team. So let me give you a little bit of what's happening when it comes to AI, okay? Particularly, I want to begin the story with understanding what's happening at an economic level in Malaysia. So not last year, but at the end of 2026, 25.5% of the GDP in Malaysia is going to be from digital income. Okay, 25.5%. 1/4 of the economy of Malaysia is going to be digital. That's a very impressive number. Okay, Malaysia is growing at a pace of around 5.5% as a GDP growth. And with the acceleration of AI and the adoption of AI, it is expected that by 2030, there's going to be an addition of $113 billion to the economy caused by AI. We're starting to see that and the level of investments that are happening in the country. For example, right now there is 32 operational data centers in Malaysia. And we are seeing a whopping growth of over 19 different data centers being built in Malaysia that are going to be ready in the next, 18 months or so. That's an investment to the country of around $20 billion. Quite impressive. And not only that, right now the revenue or the total addressable market for that data center business is around $4 billion. By 2030, it's expected that's going to be almost $14 billion. So we're seeing a very rapid expansion in Malaysia of the entire level of data centers that are being built, right? So now Malaysia has the infrastructure, the house where you want to keep all your technology. Now the big difficult part is, how do we use all those resources that are being invested in Malaysia to make our businesses a lot more efficient, right? And that's where some of the challenges arise, right? We did a survey of over 3,000 companies worldwide, and we identified that 94% of these businesses don't trust their data. They're not certain on how they can apply their data. And if you apply that to a model of AI, and you're putting garbage in, you're going to get garbage out, right? So that is very concerning. So there has to be a very severe due diligence when it comes to the data that you're managing. Another challenge is 89% of CIOs said that they don't know how to actually go ahead and implement AI. It's difficult. It doesn't come out natural for the organization. And that's the beauty of what we're doing in Dell. We're simplifying and streamlining all that process to get it more easily available to all of you. Okay, so we see that there are different levels that have to be interactive with AI, right? The first one, of course, being AI itself. But AI is just a tool, right? It's a framework, a model, that you grab something input, you're going to get something of output. But the real challenge is, nowadays, all organizations are multi-cloud, or most organizations are multi-cloud. So you have data on-prem, you have data in whatever service that you might be running on the cloud. How do you put all that together? how do you leverage that content that is not only in your data center, but in the cloud itself? There's also challenges that, for example, the edge, right? All of us have computers, have phones, have all this technology available, and we're creating content continuously there, right? So there's a lot of data being created at the edge. How do you help ingest that data into your model so you have the latest outcomes that you're looking for? And the future of work, right? We're going to see a very big and interesting transition happening in the next, 3 years or so, when the entire industry starts refreshing all the portfolio of PCs, phones, laptops, in order to get the best outcome possible, because everything's going to be now coming with what's being called an NPU, right, which is a special processor to help create that AI experience at the edge in the devices. And most importantly, where do you put all this together? Where are you going to run the model? Where are you going to run your analytics? And that's where the modern data center comes in. So now we understand what's happening from an economy level of the growth of Malaysia, right? And now we know all the challenges that we have from the devices, the multi-cloud, the edge, the AI that we want to build, and all that comes into the modern data center. Okay? So I'm very proud of being in Dell. I've been in Dell 15 years, been a marvelous experience thus far, but something that makes me really proud is the fact that we are the only company that can do an end-to-end on AI. Nobody can do that but us. We have the compute, we have the workstations, we have the networking, we have the service, we have the storage, we have the financial models to help you consume, we have everything, right? So Dell is really a one-stop shop for you guys to help you go and embark yourselves in the AI journey. Okay, but as always, technology has its challenges, right? First one, how do you future-proof your investment? There's a lot of money going into AI, and running AI models, it isn't cheap, right? So how do you guarantee yourself that you're going to be future-proofing your investment? That's where we can come in and help you build a proper architecture based on your needs. Networking, right? We're all accustomed to the importance of networking in our day-to-day business communications, right? And there's in everything that is AI, you need to have a very fast-paced networking for the east-west traffic, north-south traffic, and particularly the connectivity between your compute and your storage to make sure that you get your outcome desired in a flash, right? Storage, it's all about the data, like I mentioned before. 94% of CIOs didn't trust their storage. So for us, having that scalable storage is incredibly important because there's going to be a very rapid growth in data. We've been experiencing that in the past 5 to 10 years. That will accelerate. It will get quicker. Protection. That's one of the biggest concerns for many people, right? How do we secure the model? How do we secure the data? And that's when we have a comprehensive suite of data protection to protect your data, to protect your LLM model or whatever model you're running, to make sure that your data, your personal information isn't leaked, to make sure that your model is protected, that the data and content that you're creating is going to be there available for you. So there is a very important part of the data protection for your business. And of course, we have to do this in a responsible way. So we need to look into how do we do it efficiently. And there is a very interesting project from my RER, my Malaysian renewable energy, something, I can't forget what the last R is, to go and bring innovation into the data centers within Malaysia and try to do for energy and power with an aim to deliver 70% of renewable energy for the market, right? For your data center. So Malaysia is doing all the right things to secure the future of the future generations as well. So I wanted to highlight a little bit about the Dell AI factory, right? Sarah beat me to it, but I think it's one of the most important things we need to discover, right? We call it a factory. Usually the way things work in a factory is you grab some sort of resource, right? And you work it to deliver an end product. This is the same concept that we as Dell are doing, but with your data. So we grab your data, we grab it from, the core to the edge to the cloud, we process that through, and we give you the outcome that you're looking for, that your business is looking for. We give you that outcome that will be a differentiator from the market for you guys to bring additional level of value. And that's what we do. That's what the Dell AI Factory is. Like Sarah had mentioned before, we've identified over 900 different use cases for AI in multiple segments, the BFSI, the healthcare, entertainment business, telco. All of the industries are being affected on a daily basis by AI. And we have identified through our Dell AI factory how to, okay, you want to deliver this outcome? We can backtrace all the way to telling you what sources of data you need to access and what layers of infrastructure, what layers of softwares, what layer of services you need to access in order to get that outcome you desire. And that's the beauty of the Dell AI Factory, right? Because we can offer it to you in two very different ways. The first one being with the Dell Technologies validated designs. So we made it simple, right? That's for you guys like me that we like to be hands-on. So you can access all these blueprints and it will tell you exactly what hardware, how to connect it, what layers of software, so you can embark yourselves in your business and get it done in a very simple way. And we've already tested it, validated it, and made that journey simple for you guys. The other option is, of course, we offer our Dell professional services as well, where we can go and do that for you, right? So we have the capability of offering you both flavors. You can do it yourself, or we can do it together. Up to you. But we will be there for the entire time to back you up. Okay, something that's very important, and I always get asked, oh, man, you know what, we really want AI, but we're scared of it, right? It's too much of an investment. And actually, it is not. Depending on the type of model that you want to run, we can have running a model in workstations, or we could do multi-node clusters with many GPUs, depending on what the requirement is for your Dell AI factory or the AI that you want to run. And you know what? The best part of it is all these products are built in Malaysia. They're Buatan Malaysia. So that's the beauty. It's AI The infrastructure is built in Malaysia to run Malaysian AI workloads. What a beautiful story. Okay, so just to make it quick and final, there's a couple of different points that we all need to consider, right? Of how AI is going to make a change for you. So we from Dell are the only ones that have the end-to-end model that we could make it simple for you guys to deliver. We have, through our Dell Financial Services, the proper capability to help you consume the technology in the whatever financial model that best suits your business, right? So we have the winning product, we have the winning solution to make you, help you consume. We are here for you. And last but not least, there's a couple of different resources that I would certainly recommend that you engage us so we can help you in this AI journey. Because even though AI sounds difficult, 94% of people don't trust it, 89% of people don't know how to actually do the AI, we do. So we got your back. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Miguel, for sharing the valuable insights into architecting the data center of the future for AI.
Imagine the possibilities. Rooftops, even building surfaces are all energy farms. Smart, power-generating roads that repair themselves. Clean energy everywhere. Cleaner ecosystems. Smart grids and devices that manage power precisely. Even waste is used as an energy source. Synthetic microbes rapidly convert waste to fertilizer for vertical urban agriculture. Roads are made of recycled plastic, making circular economy a reality. Connected citizens participate in community decisions seamlessly. Many government services are available remotely, at a touch, leading to greater access and transparency of government actions and service delivery, promoting inclusivity like never before. Everyone has access to essential goods and services, healthcare, and quality of life. Personal robots assist the elderly and differently abled. AI accelerates medical diagnosis and treatment. Even epidemics are detected early to mitigate their spread. Personalized stem cell therapies, microbiomes, and microbots hold the promise of longer and healthier lives. Autonomous mobility is safe, convenient, and accessible to all. No traffic fatalities, minimal parking requirement, freeing up all that space for parks, community spaces, even urban farms. Autonomic sensors, interconnected systems, and AI ensure emergency response is rapid, almost real-time. Technology is transforming the way we live, enabling unprecedented possibilities for human progress and economic growth, making digital cities a reality.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, let us move into a dynamic discussion exploring the landscape of AI and its implication. We have a distinguished panel of experts joining us today. Please welcome to the stage our moderator, Yu Yuan Fong, the Vice President from AIBP, as well as our panelists, Mr. Saravanan, the Managing Director from Dell Technologies Malaysia, and Mr. Jovan Lim, the Commercial Lead from AMD Malaysia. Ladies and gentlemen, please give them a big round of applause.
Assalamualaikum. Good morning, everyone. I'm trying to get a sense of the energy in the room today. How's everyone today? Great. Well, I'm not sure many of you know about AIBP, but we've been around for the last 13 years, and every year we do this study looking at enterprises in Southeast Asia and how they are applying digital technologies within their own organization. So as an avenue to connect public and private organizations within Southeast Asia on topics around growth and innovation, of course, AI has been a key topic. So I heard Agnes just now mention a few key statistics, right? She mentioned that 110 billion is being spent in the APJC region until 2028. So in our survey, 2024 to 2025 Enterprise Innovation Overview, we found that 75.8% of ASEAN enterprises are predicting moderate to significant investments in AI, not to get ahead of the competition, but just to stay competitive with their peers. That's a lot of money being spent in AI. But at the same time, I think a lot of it was echoed by Miguel just now in his presentation. The top two challenges are evaluating AI projects for cost and ROI, and how do they actually implement the robust data privacy and security measures in order to do that. So when we got this opportunity to moderate today's discussion about how to make AI easy, that was really something that was very close to our heart, because in order for Malaysia to realize the vision, you need to make AI easy for all that is looking to apply AI. Well, Sarah did mention for us to challenge him, right, in the start of his presentation. So perhaps I can get the two gentlemen to introduce yourself first, and then I'll start the more difficult questions as we go along. Would you like to maybe give a short introduction about your role and how you're doing? Okay.
Right. Can you hear me? Okay. Well, I think I pretty can on stage to introduce myself, but again, so maybe let me give a bit of background of my, my heritage, so to speak, in Dell. I've been with Dell for the last 10 years. So I said that this is the 30th anniversary celebration for Malaysia, it's my 10th year, so I think there's a lot of things coming together. I've played different roles in the company, running the data management business as well as the data protection business, and now running the country as well. So, and obviously now as MD of Malaysia, I'm truly, truly excited to be here and to be accelerating the growth that we want to see in Malaysia.
Jovan, yourself?
Oh yeah, hi. So my name is Jovan. So I run the commercial business for AMD in Malaysia. A little bit different experience compared to Sarah. I actually do not have 10 years experience in AMD, right? I actually have experience across, I got 20 years experience across hardware, software, even market research, and even CPU, right? So I was actually previously from one of my competitor companies. I can share more, maybe over break.
I guess.
Yeah, it's got to do with this color, right? Yeah.
Many changes has happened. I think Sarah mentioned in the last 24 months, right? AI has really taken off. And I think it's a great time to be in Malaysia right now. Malaysia has really set up a very robust AI strategy. And I think in last year, December 2024, the National AI Innovation Office, NIO, was set up in order to drive the AI technology action plan and implement the national AI roadmap. Singaporeans are also jealous at how aggressive Malaysia has been in attracting investments into Malaysia itself, and it is the 30th anniversary for Dell. So, you know what, maybe give us a little bit of a flavor, right, with what Malaysia is doing in really fulfilling its AI ambitions. How is Dell and AMD coming together to align yourself with what Malaysia is doing?
Yeah, sure.
So first of all, yes, this is a proud moment for all of us in Dell. I think, number one, the compelling event for us is the fact that we are celebrating the 30th anniversary. And I keep saying that because I think we're very proud of it. I don't think any of the peers in ASEAN from a Dell perspective are able to really talk about it as much. And also because the amount of investments that we already have in Malaysia, right? We have close to about 5,000 people across the country, right? right? And we have 3 different sites, 2 sites in Penang, 1 in Cyberjaya, the 2 factories out there. Malaysia is a global innovation hub for Dell, right? It's also a business hub for Dell. It's also a data center hub as well. We are one of the key locations for Dell. So you can see that amount of investments we have made in Dell the last 30 years, and I think the investment will continue to happen. And I think from a collaboration point of view, before I get to the collaboration with AMD, I think the collaboration that happens through the ecosystem that we have in terms of partners, the government stakeholders, and so on. We do a lot in that space, and probably we can talk a little bit more about that later on. It comes with the whole idea or notion about outreach. I think we have a vested interest and also a responsibility, I would say, to make an outreach to all of you on a regular basis to share the kind of work that we're doing in the country. And you'll see a lot more of this in the news in the next couple of months, right? Now, specifically with AMD, I think we have a long-term partnership with AMD, and we are seeing a lot more increased traction in recent times. I'm very, very happy to see that, Joan. And I think it's going to just increase, right? And the collaboration is going to be at different levels, right? At the field sales level, at the working with the partners, with the customers, doing joint engagement with the customers. Innovation, we are looking at building our own AI innovation hub, right? And we're going to have definitely AMD part of the innovation hub as well. The innovation hub is going to spur a lot of interest with different stakeholders. It shows the commitment that we have to our customers and the people of Malaysia. And we're going to use that innovation hub to create a lot more awareness, but not just Dell, but rather making AI easy for all of you, right? Taking the complexity out of the equation. So again, with AMD and with a lot of other partners, we're going to be making it a lot more meaningful for our customers. No one company understands AI well by itself. Everybody has to work in an ecosystem, right? So I think that's why we feel that the partnership is very critical, and we are very proud of partnering with AMD.
Yeah, so for AMD, coincidentally, we are also, we have offices in Cyberjaya, and also we are also in Penang, right? So, okay, you talk about contribution to Malaysia. NIO is still new, right? And I have, as AMD, we have yet to contribute a little bit more. We can actually do more for the Malaysian government. But when it comes to what is happening behind the scene, which is what we are actually doing in Penang, we actually have 2 factories in Penang, and our PC GPU team, the IC design team, is actually sitting in Penang. You guys know? That means our MI Instinct data center GPUs are actually designed by Malaysians in Penang. They after the design is actually sent to Taiwan to do fabrication, and after fabrication is sent back to Penang to do the CPU or GPU. That's our contribution behind the scene for Malaysia.
That's why Miguel said that everything is made in Malaysia to fulfill the Malaysia's AI ambition. It's something that really stuck with me. Well, one of the National AI Roadmap emphasizes the importance of escalating digital infrastructure to enable AI. And from what I hear today, this is really the kind of work that will help Malaysian enterprises really further their AI journey. Well, I want to ask the difficult questions, right? One of the questions that Miguel mentioned just now is like 94% have difficulty in achieving the outcomes because of like the data landscape that they have right now. So if you look at this, have you had any case studies of how you as leading the organizations for Dell and AMD have actually helped enterprises or organizations achieve their AI outcomes?
Well, I actually have 2. One is in the area of transportation, and another is the area of healthcare. Which would you like me to share more?
Both, of course.
Well, the time is limited, all right? So
Okay, you can take my time as well.
No, that's not right. So you know the World Genome Research Institute, right? So this body, their task is to come up with genome sequencing. Okay, so what this body does is, let's say you know there's some new virus or new sickness that this patient has. They actually send to this genome sequencing center, and they are supposed to compute and come up with a cure for it. So say 10 years ago, this process of coming up with a solution takes months, right? So then after that, we slowly, by them starting to use AMD solutions, we're actually able to help them with research and to cut down their research time. And we actually manage, right now, it's actually cut down to hours. So that means from months to weeks to days and now to hours. So which means, what this actually means is we actually save more lives because we actually come up with, you know, the answer quicker.
That's a great case study, aligning AI to saving lives, right?
Yes.
So now, results of how do you solve big disease problems can be achieved much faster. You mentioned the transportation case study, and perhaps some of you are in the transportation industry. Could you share with us briefly what was the case study and what kind of outcomes was achieved?
Okay, so there was this customer, you know, he operates about 3,000 over fleet of trucks, right? One main issue that they had, you know, like what you're saying, ROI is important. So, but for them, their goal is not so much on ROI, but to cut down on accident rates. Because you see, when all these trucks travel in the highways, you know, we have many human factors. You know, there are things like can be sleepy, can be, you know, looking at the phone, or can be areas that, you know, they are distracted. You know, so what this company actually did is they came to us and they looked at, you know, when you want to put AI compute at the edge in the truck, normally what do you think of? You need a computer, right, at the truck. And then the second thing you always think of is use GPU, right? Because AI, you tend to tie the GPU. So, but the challenge about GPU is GPU generates a lot of heat. So then the computer in the truck, you cannot use a GPU. So they came to us and we actually helped them. We introduced them an accelerator base. So by using an accelerator base, this company is able to remove the GPU, right? Of course, they port over to our platform, and then they're able to deploy seamlessly. Then you know, you're talking about AI cameras inside the truck, which does AI detection. They can even detect things like, you know, are you sleepy? You know, so if they see your eyes, you know, if you're blinking, right? Then they will actually give an alert out. So these are some of the use cases which we actually did, you know, to use AI to assist us.
Thank you very much, Jovan. Well, Sarah, if I could point back to what you've mentioned at the start, you said that there were already 900 use cases being seen in the Dell AI factory. But the idea was, how do you collapse all these use cases to really deliver the ROI? And you mentioned about two parts, right? What do you want to do and how do you do it? Give us a little bit more flavor to that. Are there certain case studies that come to mind in really diving into the ROI of these AI use cases?
Sure. As I said earlier as well, right? I mean, you think about Dell Technologies, we are across the entire spectrum in terms of sales, marketing, manufacturing, and so on, right? As I said earlier, we have manufacturing plants in Penang. So clearly, we are looking at how do we use AI to optimize our yield, improve productivity, right? Improve customer experience, right? And we talk about customer experience, it's not just about our customers, right? So like you over here in this room. Our own internal staff are also customers as well, right? Because they are experiencing, you know, the benefits of AI. We deploy the use case as well. For example, improving productivity, reducing the number of steps to get things done. This whole idea of next best action, right? This next best action is about how do you use AI to create the next best action for you to do the next step, whether it's related to sales, marketing, manufacturing, and so on. So recommended steps that allows you to make more insightful decisions, right? Things like, for example, if you are using 10,000 screws, right, to put things together, right? How do you reduce that to say 1,000 screws? You know, just think about it. And it's all about how do you eliminate duplicity, you know, redundancy and so on. So those are the thought process we have. And through AI, we can actually do some of this stuff, right? So that's the first thing I would say. And then of course, how do you do it? You know, what do you do and how do you do it, right? So that part is where we come in. You know, and it's not an easy answer. You know, as I said earlier, it sounds simple. We bring in partners like AMD as well, because AMD has also has very strong niche use cases around high performance computing, for example, right? And we work with national institutions, right, universities and so on. And we bring in experts from AMD, we bring experts from our partners, we come in our own experts as well. And how do we put together this whole stack to deliver this Dell AI solution, Dell AI factory, to help answer the question about how do you do it, what do you do, and how do you do it, right? So, as I said, it's a journey. Even I can't tell you that I have all the answers for you, but I can tell you that through a partnership we can get there. And it's an investment of time. It's not so much money upfront, of course. So investment of time where we come in and say, let's do a business value assessment or workshop with you, right? In a consultative fashion to get to the point of addressing how do you do it, how do you do it, and what do you do, right? So that's how we actually go to market.
I love that it's really a story about ecosystem, right? And I like how you mentioned that it's not so much one-size-fits-all approach. It really depends. Sometimes you don't need a Lamborghini to get from point A to point B, especially if traffic is bad. You need something that is built to size, that is easy to implement itself. But I think Jovan mentioned something at the start, talk about energy efficiency. We've seen how Malaysia has actually attracted a lot of investments in building data centers and really driving up this AI infrastructure piece in Malaysia itself. But if we talk about sustainable AI growth, how does the partnership help to facilitate this?
So, of course, from Malaysia right now, they're trying to balance, right, between AI, compute power, and being sustainable. So, one of the areas that AMD can actually assist is with our EPIC CPUs. Our EPIC CPUs are actually far better in power efficiency compared with our competitors. What about Dell on your area?
Well, I think it goes back to understanding what specific problem you're trying to solve, and we start with that. And I think, like I said, we don't believe that we're the smartest person in the room. As a Dell perspective, we believe it's an ecosystem of partners coming together. We know where our strengths are, and we partner with other partners who do that.
I also hear cost savings because lesser energy means that you can save some costs when you're deploying AI. But the other factor that we looked at when we look at sustainable AI projects is really around the security factor, right? Because if you have more data ingested in order to do AI, there is also more opportunities for cyber threats, right? How is the collaboration of what you're working together? Is security, data governance, all of that also built into the Dell AI factory that you've mentioned?
Absolutely. I think Miguel touched upon it just now. I think data sovereignty, data security, data protection, right, and data management, all of this is something that we're very passionate about. And it's something that we actually pay attention to right down to the granular level, the BIOS level, in our laptops and desktops, for example, our servers, right? We look at how do we have a data integrity across various locations where data is sitting, whether it's in edge or on the cloud. So I think, again, we pay attention to the working with different stakeholders in organizations, because sometimes when it comes to data security, again, not one person has an answer. The security team may have a point of view, the infrastructure team may have a point of view, the end user team may have a point of view. So I think we do our best to share some of the best practices that other customers are having, and use that opportunity to kind of like create a lot more awareness in terms of where you need to invest in, right? There's always the path of low resistance, least resistance, right? So we need to make sure we address that with our security solutions.
Sorry, if I could go a little bit deeper into that, right? We've heard a lot about large language models, but I think some of the conversations that we have now is around small language model. How do you bring, instead of putting your AI to putting your data into the AI model, can you also put the AI models to your data instead? So can you share with us a little bit more around AI in that context, and perhaps Jovan, you can share a bit more about how some of the enterprises can implement AI at edge.
Yeah, so I think great question, right? I mean, spot on, right? We are looking at bringing AI to the data, not the other way around, right? And there's a difference between that and bringing data to the AI. It's about, we want to make sure that data residency is not compromised, right? You may have a certain investments, you have made certain strategic decisions to place data in certain locations. We should not be looking at bringing the data close to the AI. You look at technologies like AI, how can you sit on top of where the data is sitting, right? And there must be consistent process. We talk about people process technology, right? So people process technology needs to be applied across wherever your data is sitting, right? And what that means is that we look at the ecosystem of partners. You saw Dell AI Factory. We have an open ecosystem. When open ecosystem means that the open ecosystem, we have a different set of partners. We look at partners who can solve a problem across different locality, data locality, right? And then we go and engage and go deeper down. So we have reference architectures and validated designs to help address some of this. And I think the key part is also to make sure that we have continuity beyond just doing the deployment. So sometimes data security, you never know, right? There's no company you can say you're 100% secure, right? There will always be some level of risks. So we must be prepared to address the risk at different points throughout the data flow as well.
Jovan, yourself, what is the idea that enterprises can adopt when it comes to edge AI, implementing AI at the edge?
I think, so you know that, you want to train a 70B model, you actually need more than one data center GPU to train, right? So that's going to cost you. So that's why there's an importance of, having that training at the edge with smaller models. So what AMD brings to the table is we actually have a breadth of products which you can actually deploy even either at the edge server or at the PC notebook angle. So PC notebook angle, it can be via NPU TOPS. We actually have 50 TOPS capable machines, and we also have CPUs that can run large LLMs in it, whereby we actually have a unified memory technology. Okay, and on top of this, very important is the software layer. So for AMD, we actually believe in open, right? So our Radeon Open Compute, short name is ROCm, is open to anyone who wants to develop applications on it. We also do have software stack that you can actually code your applications to talk to the NPU.
Those are great examples, and I think you have really identified the areas that enterprises today can make AI easy. But if you could end off today, can you share some key areas that the customers here can look forward to in terms of the collaboration and what you're bringing to the table?
Okay. Well, I think I want to take a step back and look at the national level, right? I mean, the collaboration that we're doing with, for example, the likes of MDEC and a few others, right? We are working with them to see how we can deliver smart city solutions, for example. And we are definitely will look at how we bring in AMD partnership, right? Because they have certain strength in various pillars, right? As I said earlier. So, and today, the country is looking at, having digital avatars, digital twins, smart inventory systems and so on. So we look at, again, is going to be very bespoke, bespoke for specific use cases. But at the same time, we want to create the Dell AI factory in our innovation hub, such that it allows you to solve different problems, right, in a very sustained way and a repeatable way. And that's where I think AMD will come in partnership with Dell, together with ISVs and our partners, our ecosystem partners. When it comes to smart cities, for example, right, we have specific unique partners who have certain capabilities to deliver their solutions across globally, right? And we have a smart cities team in Dell Technologies who deploy solutions globally as well. So I think that's an area that we also look at collaborating with the country, collaborating with also AMD and others. Now, I think the other part of collaboration is also about creating awareness, doing training, enablement. We actually last month we actually launched a enablement program for SMEs in Penang, right, together with the Chief Minister. We just want to start, and what the plan is for us to repeat that in Selangor, right, in Johor, in East Malaysia, right. So again, we want to make it repeatable in a sustained way, so that there is a level of trust as well, as part of the whole initiative we're trying.
Thank you, Sarah. Any last points from you, Jovan?
Yeah, so definitely, via engineering work between AMD and Dell, definitely we will be launching more and more energy efficient and also AI powerful machines and solutions to the market. But what I really would like to do more for Malaysia, like you mentioned, is more on enablement piece. So Malaysia targets about, say, 30,000 AI workforce. We actually want to contribute more. It could be via AI lab, okay, and collaborate with the universities, or things like we can kickstart an AI accelerator program for SMEs, things like that.
You heard it here first. If you require any kind of skill sets, enablement, you can look to Jovan and Sarah. And with that, we'll conclude our panel discussion today. Please reach out to them or visit some of their partners outside the exhibition booth. Thank you so much.
Ladies and gentlemen, a big hand to your moderator as well as our panelists for that engaging and informative discussion. Yes, it is clear that the AI landscape is dynamic and full of both opportunities and challenges. Thank you so much. Now, before we welcome our next speaker, let us take a moment to hear directly from our partners at AMD about their latest innovations in CPUs and GPUs powering the Dell PowerEdge servers. Please enjoy this video together.
AI is an epic force, racing through every industry. The potential is endless, the moment fleeting. Capturing it requires a massive leap in performance. 5th generation AMD EPYC processors deliver power for AI with up to 2 times faster machine learning, up to 2.8 times faster end-to-end AI, and up to 90% faster large language model inference. AMD EPYC host CPUs increase accelerator efficiency with 28% higher frequency than the competition, for up to 20% faster AI training and up to 20% faster AI inference. All with performance for any workload, with up to 192 cores and support for up to 6 terabytes of memory per socket. AMD EPYC processors, the world's best CPU for enterprise AI.
Fantastic! And now to provide us with an in-depth update on AMD's latest advancements and their integration with Dell PowerEdge, please welcome back to the stage Mr. Jovan Lee, a commission lead from AMD Malaysia, to share his expertise. A big round of applause.
Hi, it's me again. Okay, so just a little bit, in this short session, I will actually cover who's AMD, what are the things, solutions that we have around AI space. Okay, and if you know AMD, we actually have two competitors in terms of AI. One is the blue one, one is the green one, right? So the blue one will always tell you, when you talk about using AI, they'll tell you everything you need CPU, right? You need CPU is all you need to do AI compute, right? Whereas the green one, on the other hand, will tell you, you know, you have to do AI and every single thing you need a CPU, right? So for AMD, we are a little bit neutral, right? So we'll tell you, it depends on your use case, right? Sometimes a CPU is enough, but if you talk about, when it comes to larger models, then you actually need things like a GPU. Okay, so next is, you see, Sarah did mention, you know, back then, you know, the previous biggest trend, right, was on matters like internet, right? And I believe that's true. That's like maybe 20 years ago, right? And I also know I'm older than Sarah because before that 20 years ago, there was also another age where it's the GUI age, if you guys remember, right? During the GUI age, we were progressing from DOS prompt to GUI interface, right? But right now, in this very moment, right, we are experiencing the next biggest wave, okay? After GUI, after internet, right now is the AI age. And AI is across everything, right? And it's coming, right? We do have reports to know that, you know, it's coming into every single life that we do. Okay? I personally also felt one of the things quite recently. Okay, so AMD, we have things like data center, right? So data center is in the range of EPYC CPUs and Instinct GPUs, right? So for Instinct, we talk about things like larger models, HPC, or deep learning, okay? And also we do have clients. So clients, if you hear about a client that, you know, more powerful than Intel, and then longer battery life than Apple machines, right? That's AMD, okay? And very happy is Dell will start shipping AMD powered machines also today, right? And of course, the next area that we are famous for is gaming, right? And we do have areas like embedded. Embedded is an area that, you know, it's an area that we actually put chips into, embedded into things like a drone or a robot. You know, those are special purpose areas, or in factories. That's an area where we actually have an edge. And today, AMD is the only company that has all these four areas. Okay? So, in terms of revenue, our revenue has been going up. Okay, if you look at the revenue size that we have over here, it's 25B, and you can actually check, you know, my competition, what's their size, and how sizable AMD is today. If you want to put your investment in, you should put in a company that's, you know, in such a short frame, to actually grow. Okay, and of course, even though we're growing, we continue to invest in R&D. Okay, we have a lot of engineers. Okay, the customer-facing one is not many, right? I'm one of them. I also have my server marketing sitting over there, Sally. And what in our area, the biggest growth that AMD has is the data center space. So if you see here, 25B is our data center revenue. And last Q3, Q4 of last year, we actually, for the first time in 50 years, we actually exceed Intel's data center revenue in 50 years. So you just imagine what's happening in the world right now. And of course, these are the brands, right? We are the number one CPU for hyperscalers. We hold about 50% market share of hyperscalers today. And of course, on-prem, right? And on-prem, you will notice Malaysia brand in here, right? A large Malaysia brand. Okay. Of course, I do have customers in Malaysia who are using AMD and also Dell AMD today. So, one very important thing, right? AI, everyone wants to do AI, right? But then, your data center premise always the same, right? And if you know, data center GPUs, they take about 700 to 800 watts, one GPU. So how are you going to handle all these increased power, right? So there's one area that you need to look at, which is maintaining the same area, right? How do you power the new need, right? You will have a lot of legacy servers, and you need to refresh them. But refresh to what, right? And how do you manage this power? So in AMD, we have across AI, we have areas like our 5th gen server CPU. Okay, we also have our GPU, and we have things like when you talk about AI, the next one is networking. So your network must be fast enough. So we have network acceleration across Pensando, and we have also AI PCs, which just now I was sharing, AI at the edge. So CPU first, okay? Right now, we are at the 5th gen, okay? So we have started this epic journey before this 1st gen. We actually have we actually do CPUs already. But in terms of epic lineup, we started off in the 1st gen, and right now we are the 5th gen. And then one thing you'll notice, what's unique to AMD is, if you see the word SP5 there, okay? So our 4th gen and 5th gen actually uses the same board. Which means if your server CPU, you buy a 4th gen server CPU, you can actually use a 5th gen and replace it, and it still works. That's one thing that we bring to the table. And okay, now I'm going to share with you third-party benchmark. Okay, what you notice is my competition, they always share with you closed benchmark, right? So what's closed benchmark? Closed benchmark is, which means they do their own testing and you cannot replicate it, right? Whereas in AMD, we like to use third-party benchmark, which is open benchmark. Okay, it's known, right? That's one benefit. And this is a company that did the test. Okay, so we take 128 core, okay, Epic versus Xeon, 6th gen Xeon. So what you notice is over here. You see, if you talk about 2P, this is the processing power, okay, of a 2P, you see. And if you see a 2P highest end Xeon, you're talking about 40% more powerful, faster, okay, than competition, okay. But what's amazing is this. You look at my 1P over here. My 1P is processing faster than the 2P. So what that means is license. I buy a 128 core license, sufficient, right? But if you use competition, you need to buy 128 times 2 to get the same power, right? So imagine the number of saving, okay? So this is compute. Next is power efficiency, okay? So if you see power efficiency over here, if you see this chart, from lower is better, okay? So in here, lower is better. Higher means higher, because when you have more cores, you use more power. I mean, that's the concept. So you talk about the top bit of it, right? We are talking about, we are saving lesser power usage, right? So more power performance, lesser usage of energy. Amazing, okay? So now, I convince you on performance and power. What's next? Price lah, right? Okay? So price, you look at it, this is a list price, okay? I need to tell you this at this price, so make sure you don't come ask Sarah and his team, I saw Jovan say this price, right? So it's this price, okay? Of course, my CPU better in performance, so I should charge more, right? Correct, huh? I'm just kidding, right? So anyway, if you look at the performance and power efficiency, this is the price difference, okay? So next is when you want to upgrade, you have a lot of things, right? You think about software, right? You think about compatibility. You think about things like, this AMD, does it work? I've been running Intel for the longest period, right? Does it work with my SQL server? Does it work with my Oracle database? See, these are all the platforms that we support today. We have white papers on it, right? AMD has changed, okay? And on top of that, I was sharing this is the software suite that you can, code your applications on. And if you are using VMware, right, we actually have a migration tool, right? We actually work with VMware to come up with this tool so that you have a seamless migration of VMs from an Intel machine to an AMD machine. Okay. Next is security. Okay. So when you talk about security, we have progressed security over all this time, and security is important. Right now at the 5th gen, we actually extend confidential computing up to the components. Okay, and we do this with the ARM chip. I'm going to speed up a little because I'm quite short of time. Okay, so you have two choices, right? You can upgrade, take the safe path, but safe has the cost to it, right? And then you upgrade to Intel 6th gen, right? Or you want to try AMD based machine, right? Dell AMD machine, and get exponential benefits. Not only we can give you better performance, lesser power, we can, in some scenarios, we can also reduce the number of servers compared with the Intel machine. Okay? So next is our data center GPU, which we call MI Instinct. Okay? And our MI Instinct, okay. So a lot of you haven't heard about AMD GPU. So I'm going to give you a little bit introduction. Okay? If you search the world's fastest supercomputer today, number 1 and number 2 who break the exascale is actually AMD based. AMD CPU, AMD GPU. Okay? That's number 1. And what the CEO of Microsoft says about AMD, you can see that. And what very important is Meta, Meta, Facebook, right? They run exclusively on AMD for their 405B models, which means when they inference, whatever inferencing that they do, they run exclusive on AMD MI300. Right? So right now, 2024, we have about 5B business for GPU. And this GPU journey isn't new, We actually started this journey since 2018. We launched the MI50. Actually, that variant is still found in some of the cloud instances today. Alright? And right now, today, we are in MI300. Okay? And so MI300X, and then what's very important you notice in this slide is every year we will launch a new GPU. Okay? We will make sure that, because GPU, if you notice about GPU, let's say you look at this GPU, you wanted this model, the next thing when your paper come out and you're going to buy, that GPU is really obsolete, right? There's a new GPU. So that's how fast GPU trend is today. And the next is, how are we compared with our green competitor, right? So when it comes to inferencing, okay, we have 3 models over here: Mistral 7B, 8x7B, and 70B Llama. Okay, and you can see the comparison with the H200. Okay, when it comes to inferencing alone. So in this, one very important thing is in this part of the world, okay, not only Malaysia, but ASEAN specific. Most of the workloads, AI workloads, are actually inferencing, which means you take a model and then you inference. So if you are doing inferencing, this is very important because you can, in some scenarios, we may come to a situation where you only need one AMD GPU instead of two NVIDIA GPUs. Amazing, right? Okay, so now software compute, right? So one area that we focus in AMD versus our competition is open. Okay, you must know one thing. A lot of times when you do your application, you're using PyTorch, right? And then you import CUDA library, okay, to do your AI. But one thing you do not know is actually you're coding on PyTorch, and you're not coding the CUDA layer itself, because the CUDA layer is the layer that is to the GPU. For AMD, we have ROCm. ROCm is random quantum compute, and this layer will talk to the GPU. But you do not need to touch this area most of the time. You're using another software, PyTorch, Tensor, that talks to this language. And it's as easy as, instead of open import CUDA, I import ROCm. And no code changes. You don't even need to recompile your code. Right? So if you develop on CUDA, you just need to change that import thing. Okay? And you can actually use the AMD GPU already. Yes or yes? Okay. So if let's say, I still, after I've shown so many interesting charts, I still cannot convince you, right? You still want the green brand, the green brand, you love the brand, right? Okay? So how about using the CPU on AMD? Okay? That means you can continue using the H100, H200 GPU, but in terms of the CPU, we have facts to show that if you do AI workloads with a higher frequency, you can actually run better. You can actually run more efficient with an AMD-based CPU. Okay, and of course, last is Dell is one of my best partners. And one very important thing, maybe you can ask Dell later on what makes them special. Whatever I shared, you might be able to take one thing, right? Oh, AMD CPU is good, right? So, and you can actually find this benefit in other brands. But then actually, what Dell did differently is Dell actually launched a newer model for our 5th gen. Okay? And you saw, right, SP5. SP5, you can run 5th gen on 4th gen. So if you do run that, you still can work. But when it comes to performance, upgraded board, a newer board is definitely better than the other brands. So if you want to look at AMD-based machine, do look at what Dell has in terms of their 70G platform. It has better power management and also better performance. And you can actually ask the Dell person to share with you, what are the benefits of Dell, right? But also, if in case Dell did not for you an AMD machine, you can also let me know, or you can also help me ask them for an AMD option. Okay? All right? Okay, so that's all I have. Thank you so much.
Ladies and gentlemen, please give it up to Mr. Joker. Thank you for the exciting update on the cutting-edge technologies from AMD. Witnessing those successes truly highlights the impact of our solutions. Now, we will shift our focus back to Dell's cutting-edge solutions. To delve deeper into the compute power driving AI on our next generation Power Edge servers, I would like to invite Mr. Chin Boon Peng, Senior Systems Engineer and Solutions Architect from Dell Technologies, to the stage.
Hello. Hello, hello. Good afternoon, everyone. Those who answer good afternoon need more coffee. Alright, so first and foremost, to all our Muslim friends, I would like to wish you Selamat Berpuasa, yeah, and Selamat Hari Raya in advance, just in case I don't see you all here, right? It's just around the corner anyway, alright? So let me introduce myself. Oops. Do I have the introduction? It's okay. Let me introduce myself first. My name is Chin Gunping, and I'm the VCO Solution Consultant, part of the business team in Dell Technologies, right? So today I'll be touching on a topic, that's my favorite. So today I'll be touching on what's new in PowerEdge server together with AMD processor, right? Now all this, basically you look at the message of the event, is all AI made easy, right? Everything's about AI. So if you notice that a lot of programs, a lot of initiatives, a lot of events that we've been doing, they're all centered around AI. AI here, AI there, everywhere AI, right? Everyone is into AI, right? And equally from Dell perspective, we're also very, very excited about the AI things, right? And do you know why? Right? Do you know why? Let me tell you why, right? We are super excited, we are super serious about all this AI stuff, because in 10 years' time, we will see the emergence of a warrior called John Connor, who will save humanity from terminators. Okay. Sorry, that joke. Sorry, to watch too much movies, right? Okay, so my session is on PowerEdge, alright, with AMD. Now, the messaging hierarchy of our PowerEdge portfolio has always been a key message like what they call that, purpose built, or rather what we call adaptable, right? So over the generations of our servers, we've been coming up with designs, innovation, technology of our servers to actually meet customers' requirement and also the industry trend, right? Started many years back, many quarters back, we've been making servers to actually handle things like virtualization, right? It was like virtualization back then, right? And then we move on to HPC, VDI, big data, right? And now AI, right? So we make servers, we come up with innovations, technology to actually help our customers in terms of running their workload, right? And also according to the industry trend, right? And intelligent, right? This actually relates to the system management capability of the server. And we actually put a lot of emphasis, right, in terms of system management capability. Over the years, we've been enhancing a lot of our system management features, our very comprehensive system management capabilities to actually help our customers manage their servers better, right? And our servers are now, if you're not aware, we are integrated now into what we call Cloud IQ. I'm not sure whether you're aware of Cloud IQ. Yeah? So from a holistic point of view, right, you can actually see or monitor your infra, be it from storage to now servers, networking, and even your fabric. Okay? And of course, not forgetting cyber resilient security features. And over the years or so, we've been enhancing a lot of our security capabilities in our server. And we actually built in all these security features into the server rather than bolt on. Right? So we built in the security features for proactive management, proactive monitoring, right? Rather than reactive. So we have things like system lockdown, features like system lockdown, simple rule of trust, right? Etc. Right? Now, so next, you are 17th generation with AMD 5th generation EPYC, right? Code name Turin. So you notice their EPYC processors are all code named using Italian cities, right? They are the first generation Naples, and then second generation of Rome, Milan, Genoa, and now today. So imagine if we manufacture chips locally. Gen 1, Petaling Jaya. Gen 2, Pahang. Gen 3, Tanjung Rambutan. Alright, so there are a lot of good stuffs, what do you call that, with PowerEdge servers with 5th gen EPYC processors in terms of what are the market context, pain points, what are the goals, strategics, outcomes, and so forth. But what's new, basically, we have 5 PowerEdge platforms with the new EPYC processor, right, which I'll explain later. And we also have our first PowerEdge XC family, right? This is one of the babies, we as well explain details as well. And of course, our single socket and two socket servers. Yeah. So moving on, like I said, our PowerEdge servers are purpose-built for workloads, for industry trend, right? Like for example, the dense virtualization, data analytics, big data, VDI, HPC, and now of course AI, right? And there are statistics to actually substantiate our, improvement in terms of performance, in terms of a reduction of power consumption, and also the security features, enhanced security features that we put into our servers, right? Okay, so this is in a nutshell some of the models that we have with our 17th generation server with AMD EPYC. We have our, in fact, this is actually our mainstream server, what we call the 6000, 6 series, and also the 7 series. Yeah, one CPU, one socket, two CPU, one socket, one CPU, two socket, two U, two socket, two U, one socket, and so on and so forth. Right? And basically, if you look at the number of cores that the processor can support, is very, very high from the AMD perspective. So we have 160 cores, even up to 192 cores per processor. So you can actually pack a lot of a workload into just one server. Just to give you a perspective, I actually worked on a project, all right? Just do a comparison. It was a virtualization, a new virtualization setup, right? So customer was asking us to actually do a sizing for the virtualization setup. So I actually went in with AMD, our AMD servers, because I know that using AMD servers, we can get the economy of scale, right? So I worked out, it was a multiple environment, production environment with 6 nodes, six nodes, staging environment with 3 nodes. So of course, being customer, they want to see comparison with AMD's closest competitor, right, the blue color one, all right? So I worked out the state resources sizing and everything. Then because Intel doesn't have the kind of capability of the number of cores per CPU, so the solution came out to be even more nodes compared to AMD. So instead of 6 nodes for the production environment, I had to put in a 10 node, right? I put in 10 node server. And for the staging, instead of 3 nodes, it's actually double up, becomes 6 nodes, right? So what I'm trying to say is that using AMD servers, you actually get better economy of scale. And by the way, the cost is cheaper for the AMD option. So you get a better economy of scale, lesser footprint, and when you get lesser footprint, of course, what does it mean? You save costs in terms of the data center facility. Yeah, right? So that's the advantage of AMD. Okay, like I said, our mainstream servers, the 7 series, the 6 series, targeted for a lot of workloads. I mean, like for example, data center workloads, right? Virtualization, HPC, VDI, AI, etc., right? And we have a lot of unique differentiators, right, in the servers. And one of the differentiators is that notably, we have support for up to 400 gig of a network card, right? So we now support 400 G of a network card in our servers, right? For really, really high bandwidth, really high requirement in terms of networking, right? And some performance statistics, right? Regarding Dell plus Turing, and these are actually real tests, third-party real tests, right? In terms of SAP workloads, Java workloads, virtualization workloads, even AI workloads. Yeah. So they have a lot of world record in terms of the performance capability of the server and also the processor, right? Okay, if you are looking at tech refresh now, it's the best time for you to look at AMD servers. Okay? So because like I said, each processor of AMD can pack a lot of cores. You can pack a lot of workload in that particular server. So this is just a comparison basis. If you have an aging 14th generation, which is our R740 series, right? 70 servers, you can actually pack everything into 10 AMD servers. Okay? Much less servers. And in terms of rack space, of course, it's much less. You don't need that many racks to actually house your servers. And of course, in terms of much lesser servers and much lesser rack, you get reduced power consumption, right? And reduced power consumption means what? You save money, right? And you save money means what? You get more bonus, yeah? And also you can go for a company trip to Hawaii, yeah? Instead of Horizon, yeah? All right? Okay? So I'm not going to go through in detail about this. This just give you a perspective of what the server looks like, our new servers looks like. 17th generation AMD, 700 series, 700 series for AMD. 2U, 2 socket. We have the 2U, 1 socket, also available. 1U, 2 socket, and 1U, 1 socket. Yeah. So like I said, these are the mainstream servers, right? That you can run any workload, data center workload, as well as entry-level workload as well. Right? Okay. Now this is one of the babies that I want to focus on, right? The XE7745. Now this is actually a giant, right? GPU optimized. Now this is the first server that we have that supports 8 GPU PCIe based. Now we do have 8 GPU SSM based, which we have launched many quarters back. But in terms of PCIe based GPU, these are the first 8-way. Yeah? And if you look here, 8-way double wide, if you put single wide GPU, you can support up to 16 GPUs. So imagine that, very, very dense GPU capability. 8-way double wide or 16-way single wide GPU. Yeah? Excellent choice for a lot of heavy AI purposes. Okay? Just for you form factor, right? Now, this is also another our baby, right? The XC9600 series. Now, we actually launched, or rather came up with our XC9680 many quarters back, right? But that's based on Intel, right? This is based on Intel processor. And the XC9680 has been selling at hotcakes, right, basically. So they actually contributed a lot to our revenue, right? A lot to our server, what do you call it, units, okay? But a lot of customers are asking us, hey, you know, and by the way, the XC9600 is actually the 8-way GPU SXM, yeah, the XXM form factor, which is actually equivalent to the NVIDIA GX system, right? Before we had this, the XC9680, we actually have a partnership with NVIDIA. They actually resell the NVIDIA DGX, right? So then we have this so-called Project Helix, a partnership that we do with NVIDIA for validated designs, yeah, for validated designs on NVIDIA. So we came out with the XC9680, but that was based on Intel, right? Intel, the first 8-way XXM-based server. So like I said, a lot of customers are asking, hey, you have your Intel, yeah, good. But what about AMD? I'm also interested in looking at AMD, right? To deploy AMD in my environment. So we don't have that yet, but now we do, right? So XC9685 AMD based, right? Epic AMD based, and it's liquid cooled. You look at the L at the back. Yeah, the L at the back is liquid cooled. Right? So this server is liquid cooled, 8-way GPU, SSM based, right? And it packs a lot of things, right? 12 PCIe slots, etc., etc. Now, if you notice one thing, in front, what are these? This is the network slot, the PCIe slot, right? This is the front view, yeah, by the way. Now, if you ask me, not all servers are the same, right? Not all servers are the same. Our closest competitor, I mean, at the end of the day, this is like Formula 1 teams. There's so many Formula 1 cars. And a lot of cars are using the same engine, I can tell you that. Right? They use Ferrari engine, they use Rolls-Royce engine. So one bunch will be using the same engine, another one bunch will be different engine. The petrol they use is also the same. Right? So, but why is one team winning so many races? Why? Alright? It's because of the design of the car is different than the other team. How they manage the internal of the car, probably the petrol infusion or whatever, the aerodynamics of the car, So the design and the technology is different. So same here. So what I'm trying to say is that not all servers are the same, right? We sell, okay, it's AMD based, our competitor is also AMD. Same, AMD is AMD, right? We have Broadcom, NVIDIA, Intel network cards, they also have the same. Memory DIMMs, same thing. But the thing is that if you look at each server, individual each server, our server we put a lot of design, a lot of innovation, a lot of technology to actually help our customers save costs, right? In a lot of achieving efficiency, so on and so forth. So one example here is that if you see the front, the PCIe slots are in the front, right? So you're asking me, hey, why do you put PCIe slots in the front? It's not that customer come and tell us, hey, hello, Dell, can you put the PCIe slot in the front because I'm lazy to go to the back, open the door, hot air blow in my face. No, it's not that. It's not that reason, right? There is always a reason to do things. So imagine this is an 8 GPU SXM. Have you seen the NVIDIA 8 GPU SXM GPU board? I actually went to the Penang factory and it's huge. 8 GPU and it's super heavy. I'm not talking about the server. I'm just talking about the GPU board. It's 50 kg. You need 2 persons to actually shift up the GPU board. And if one GPU fails, you have to change the whole board. All the 8 GPUs, you have to change everything. Right? Now, imagine that big GPU board generates such tremendous heat. A lot of heat, it generates a lot of heat. And we're talking about enterprise grade GPU here. A lot of heat generates. And the CPU, 192 cores, the TDP is high. So in that server, in the middle or in front or whatever, you have components, the GPU and the CPU, that generate intense heat. And all this heat, the fan will blow from the front to the back. So imagine the back of the server is so hot. All the hot air built up at the back. So imagine if you put your network card all at the back, the failure rate of the network card is so high. It's very, very high. So that's why in Dell we put the network card in front. So that the hot air, it doesn't heat up the network card. So your failure rate of the server is much, much, much lesser. Right? So when your failure rate is much lesser, you sustain your business. You sustain your operations. Right? You sustain your revenue, you sustain your reputation, and so on and so forth. Right? So think about it, ladies and gentlemen. Not all servers are the same. Right? Penny wise, pound foolish. You may save a little bit in terms of cost, a few percentage point here and there. But at the end of the day, if your server fails a lot, there goes your business operations. Right? Okay, so yeah, so that's our advantage, right? Okay, let's okay, this is another baby that we have launched. Okay, M7725, which is actually a compute node. Now this compute node sits in what we call an integrated rack system, which I will explain later. Yeah. Now, if you notice, this is the compute node, and it is one OU, or what we call it one open rack unit. Now, for dense, high performance computing, dense, we are moving towards what we call a new standard, or what we call the open rack standard, actually developed by OCP. Which actually Dell is one of the contributors. Yeah? So one OU instead of one RU. The OU is slightly thicker, higher, right? To actually facilitate a better efficiency, in terms of airflow, scalability, and so on and so forth. Yeah? So it's slightly higher, right? And you can actually pack 36, or rather, by the way, this baby here, one OU is actually 2 nodes. Alright, there's actually 2 nodes in one OU. Right? So in one integrated rack, you can actually put in up to 64 nodes or 72 nodes, depending on the height of the rack. 64 or 72. Right? And that's very, very dense for an enterprise, what they call that, high performance computing. Okay? Now, just let me show you what it looks like. So this is our integrated rack, 7,000, order 7,000 for now. If you see here, it is actually using the, like I said, the new open rack standard, not the RU anymore. Yeah? So we have 44 OU and 50 OU. So with 44 OU, you can pack 64 nodes, up to 64 nodes. For 50 OU, you can pack up to 72 nodes, right? And it has actually all the integrated components in there, like networking, integrated power shelf, and it has all the built-in manifold and bus bar, right? So this is the integrated manifold, right? Integrated manifold, you can see here all the blah blah blah, and this is the integrated bus bar. So what is it for? If you were to look at this compute node, you notice here the connector. That these are the manifold connectors, and this is the power connector. So when you slot the compute node into this rack, the power connector automatically slots into the bus bar, and the manifold connector automatically slots into the manifold, the inbuilt manifold, right? So this reduces the complexity of all the cabling, the power cabling, the manifold cabling, etc. So it eases deployment a lot, right? So, yeah. And the footprint is almost the same as the 19 standard. Okay? So we are actually pushing this a lot in terms of the efficiency for high performance computing. Okay. All right. So we also still have our cloud-based server, which is the C series. We've been having this like for many generations. Yeah? So this is actually a 2U 4 node. This is the front view. You can't see the node. If you turn to the back, if you see at the rear, you will actually see 4 nodes. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, it's a 4 node 2U server. And basically, the target models are things like for cloud computing, HPC, so on and so forth, where you need to have a lot of core, right? A lot of cores in a small form factor. Okay? Right? Okay, so that was the last slide. So the key takeaway, ladies and gentlemen, not only for this session, but for the entire session for today. So if you forgot what you have absorbed and whatsoever, so just remember this key takeaway. 4 words, right? 4 words. Dell is the best. Right? And it's true, huh? It's true. Dell is the best, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, so that's my last slide. Thank you very much for the support. Thank you very much for coming. Right? Thanks.
Thank you so much, Mr. Chin, for that detailed look into the next generation of power edge compute on AI. The power of AI relies heavily on data. So now that we have explored the compute side, let's turn our attention to the crucial aspect of data. To discuss how Dell Technologies is helping organizations unleash and manage their data for AI initiatives, I would like to invite to the stage Mr. Karthik Kumaravelu, Regional Business Leader, Unstructured Data Storage from Dell Technologies. Over to you.
Good morning, everyone. How are you doing today? I need a lot of energy. Let's have a lot of energy in this room. Yeah? Let's talk about data. So I'm here to speak about data. Why we're going to speak about data is because for AI, the centricity is data. Data is the actual fuel of AI. That's why we call it as AI anywhere on data everywhere. Today, the most important challenge that we have in any organization is about the siloed nature of data, the dispersed nature of data. So we are actually bringing in AI to the data and not the reverse. That makes it more important. And I would like to appreciate the previous speaker was telling Dell is the best. That's why Dell is close to my heart and it's here. And data is highly distributed, and bringing AI to the data is most important and not the reverse. So, and I'm Karthik Kumaravelu, hailing up from the Unstructured Data Storage Division of Dell Technologies. Our CEO and Chairman has mentioned that AI is defining the technology today across industries. And data, in fact, has got gravity. What does gravity mean? It means that the law of sovereignty, the law of economics, and law of physics are maintained for the data, and that's what is most important for applying AI on top of the data. So the Newton's law, what exactly it states is an object that is not accelerating will not change its speed or direction unless the external force acts upon it. So let's talk about three things that I mentioned: the law of land, the law of economics, and law of physics. The law of land is the sovereignty clause that we all have, and the data should not be moved outside the country generally in many of the countries right now. And that goes, that applies for FSI industry and also healthcare industry and many other industries, right? And the law of economics is about the amount spent on, accessing the data if it is out of our land space. Then law of physics is the performance is most important when the data is placed somewhere else and it's not placed in premises, right? So the performance plays an important role. So that's what we say, when the data commutes, there should be an external energy which should accelerate its performance. But in this case, if we have the data within the environment, we can have better control of the data and have better performance. So this particular information is 175 zettabytes of data is expected in this world in 2025. And when I said that I'm coming from unstructured data storage, 90% of data in today's world is unstructured. Why? Because the things that I'm speaking right now, if it gets recorded, it's unstructured in nature. The video that is being taken here is unstructured in nature. Let's talk about the industries for a while, right? If you take up the FSI industry, the entire backup data, the logs, the transactional data to an extent, and you might use many different applications and things like that. The tick data, they're all unstructured. If you take up the healthcare industry, the PACS, picture archival and communication systems, it's again unstructured. The genomic sequencing is unstructured. If you take up the oil and gas industry, seismic data is unstructured. If you take up the media and entertainment industry, media creation, media management, media editing, and distribution, that data is unstructured. So if you take up many industries for that matter, in the plants, in the manufacturing belts, whatever the data, the automation is done, that is unstructured for the people who are from manufacturing industry. Okay, I'd like to make it much more interesting. How many companies today, or how many people present here, the delegates present here, have tried out, have ventured on AI? Anyone? Please, can you raise your hands? Because we're going to talk about why data is important and how we can use it for AI. Anyone has ventured on AI already? No problem. So that's an opportunity for Dell Technologies to partner with you all to take the journey forward in assessing the setup that you have, the data you have. People spoke about the security. People spoke about managing the data. But you see, when we think about AI, everybody is thinking about AI today. The AI researchers, it's not me, researchers say it's stochastic parrot, because whatever we input, that's what we get as an output. That's why the models are many. We are fabric agnostic, we are application agnostic, we are silicon diverse. Dell Technologies is, and we can help you, whatever you choose. You can choose a model from anything like Meta, Hugging Face, or whatever you want, but the training the model with the domain data is most important. Okay, so let's look into what are all the challenges that we see today. In the industry, 73% of data is unused. Why it is unused? Because we are not able to basically identify the actual data and where exactly it is present within our organization, because the scale of the data is huge. That's what matters. If you need to do AI, you need to train the model with the domain data. That's, for example, if you take up an FSI industry bank, it's bank's data, it's highly sensitive, but the data is important because it's domain data. Let's talk about the security in a while, but the data at scale is important for you. But when we don't know to identify where exactly it is, if we haven't classified it as restricted data, unrestricted data, personal information data, and things like that, how would we even classify, categorize, and use the data for AI model? That's most important. So that's why 73% of data is unused. And there are 83%, the research says, 83% of AI projects are going in vain. I mean, it's not getting into motion, not getting on flight. So for that, Dell Technologies can partner with the partners here, with the customers here, and customers here, and we can take you through the journey in the form of services, in the form of our robust storage products, and many more, right, in Dell Technologies. Assessment and things like that. So let's talk a little bit on what happened in this world. 100 years before, the electricity was invented. So everybody was amazed to think about electricity. What's going to do and how it's going to help the world. But for a fact, electricity has become ubiquitous. The same way AI is going to become omnipresent in near future. So as I said, it can be a data mesh or it can be even a data fabric. Data mesh means it is distributed data, it is not centralized, decentralized. If it is data fabric, it's a consolidated data, and we have a solution. Why did I come here to speak about data management is because Dell Technologies in 2024, we introduced something called as Dell Data Lakehouse, which is a fulcrum, which is a centricity for the data. It can work with the principles of single source of truth or single point of access. Let's discuss about the difference between single source of truth and single point of access in a while. Okay, let's talk about the data ecosystem, and I'll tell you why. Let me go quick a bit, but in the interest of time, but let me talk about the data ecosystem and I'll connect it with the AI that we're thinking today. Data ecosystem always starts with sources. We need to identify the sources within the organization. Once the sources are identified, the ingestion is most important. The ingestion can happen through any ETL tools that you have. It can be Informatica, Talent, or IBM Data Stage, or AWS Glue, or Azure Data Factory, or Oracle Data Integrator. ETL tools can be any. That's why I said we are application agnostic, Dell Technologies. So we provide you services. Once the data is ingested, where it will get ingested? It will get ingested in our robust product portfolio, the infrastructure, the storage products that we have. Once that comes into picture, we need to apply analytics on top of that, and we have got many different analytics applications. We can work with many different analytics applications, the likes of Cloudera or Dremio and things like that, if the customers or partners already have a data lake in their environment, if they have already consolidated data. Okay, now we have consolidated the data, we have done analytics on top of that. How would we visualize the data? We need visualization tools, right? The likes of Power BI, Microsoft Power BI, or Tableau, or Looker, and things like that. So we can integrate this Dell Data Lakehouse with the visualization tools, and the KPIs, the results of the KPIs can be viewed by your business users, right? So that's the ecosystem. Why did we speak about the data ecosystem is because of this. In AI, if anybody thinks, of course it's a magic word, everybody thinks about AI, but in AI, the first is data collection. The first, in the AI ecosystem, the first step is data collection. Second is the model training. Third is fine-tuning. Fourth is inference. So what comes first? It's data collection. Because your data is important, it has to be at scale, because in many cases, we might not, if we did not train the models to an extent, to a greater extent, then there's a possibility that the models can hallucinate. That's when the RAG comes into picture. It goes to the internet and brings in data, right? To avoid hallucination, the model has to be trained with large amount of data. That's why we collect the data. So in AI ecosystem, the first comes the data. That's why we are talking about data. Okay, so quickly, I'll tell you the differences between data warehouse, data lake, and then data lakehouse of what we have today. Dell Technologies has introduced an appliance which is for data lakehouse, and previously the data warehouses were all structured data. It was handling only the structured data. Then came data lake, which handled unstructured and also semi-structured data. Then the data lake got evolved a bit, and it was made to handle structured, unstructured, and semi-structured data. And we all know ACID, ACID, which is atomicity, consistency, isolation, and durability. This was there, but still, the data which was present inside these data warehouses and data lake were all in proprietary format, right? To avoid that, to break that, in data lakehouse, we have come up with the open table format and the open file format. So what does it mean? The data, when it gets stored in the Dell Data Lakehouse system, it's completely open. That means there is no vendor locking. The customers and partners have the flexibility to replace the storage, replace the application anytime, which is necessary, anytime necessary. So that's the advantage that we provide. So this is the way in which we have traversed from data warehouses until data lakehouse, right? And there are so many. Previously, we used to, the Hadoop technology is 1980s technology, then came Spark Engine, then came Trino. When I speak about the Dell Data Lakehouse, I speak about what we are using inside. It is about the Starburst, which is the fastest query engine today, and that Starburst is built around Trino, which is one of the latest engines that is being used in the data lakehouse and in the data industry. So now, this speaks about the freshness of data. I said I will tell you the difference between the single source of truth and single point of access. What is single source of truth? Previously, until now, the data lake is nothing but consolidating the data to one place. So you pull the data using ETL tools and consolidate it in one place, and you do analytics on top of the data. Now the time is 11:41. So you say that you consolidate the data and you apply analytics on top of the data from different sources, right? And you get an output. But at 11:45 or 11:50, still the data at the sources will be changing, because change is the only thing which is constant at the sources. So that means the KPI output that you have got here for the business users is slightly old. To access the data at the source, the query engine is being used, which is Starburst, and that is single point of access using a virtualization intermediate. You can access, and then you can bring the latest output from the sources. So that's the difference between single point of access and the single source of truth. So quickly, this is the Dell Data Lakehouse appliance, which we have in the industry. So this talks about how do we store the data, right? Generally, when you go to Google or any search engine for that matter, if you just place that, I want to form a I want to form a data lakehouse or data lake, it always says, please use the cloud object storage. That doesn't mean the object storage is sitting on cloud. Dell Technologies object storage is called as ECS, Elastic Cloud Storage, and that works with the protocol S3, and any S3 application at the cloud, at the ground, can access that particular object storage. So that when you bring in the raw data, we have got some categorizations like bronze, raw, slightly cleansed data, and then more cleansed and usable data, right? So let me quickly go to the structure, the building blocks of the Dell Data Lakehouse. If you see the bottommost, the bar that has got the sources can be any. We have different connectors based on the sources that you have. It can be Oracle, Teradata, Splunk, SAS, whatever you have in your environment today, because we are not bringing in new investments for you. Whatever source you have, you can use that, and then we use the query engine to query the sources. And if you ask me, hey, I have already formed the data lake. Can the data lake be a source for your appliance? Yes, it can. So data lake can also become a source. Most importantly, we need to look at the block which says Iceberg and Delta Lake, and then Parquet Agro ORC. What does it mean? They are open table formats. They are not proprietary table formats, or they are not proprietary file formats. So that means you don't get vendor locked. And then what you get with this appliance? You get the complete building blocks of nodes, that is worker nodes, coordinator nodes, and controller nodes, to control and manage the data. You've got an operating system called as Dell Data Lakehouse operating system, which is built on SUSE Linux. Then you've got the network connectivity. You get the storage with that. Then you also get Kubernetes, because the data uses containers, and then you have got Rancher to complement it. What's the advantage, you think? Dell Technologies came up with this kind of ideology and the applications just to make your job extremely easy. The reason is, there is one throat to choke in terms of support. Anything happens, it's not necessary to go, say for example, take a situation where you have gone to procure servers separately, the storage separately, network separately, then the application, the Starburst that we are talking about separately, Kubernetes separately, Rancher separately, and then what will happen is when there is an issue with the support, that's when we will hit some roadblocks. To avoid that, Dell Technologies, pick up the phone, you can call Dell Technologies support for level 1, level 2 for this particular appliance. And why are we talking about this appliance today? It's because data is a fulcrum. Data is a centricity for the AI. If you think about AI, we need to think about data. Okay, so this is about the t-shirt sizes that we have. I don't want to go too much into it because this is numbers. We can anytime discuss. I'll be available here. If you're interested, you can come and talk to me to form a data lake or data lake house in your environment. And these are t-shirt sizes that we offer in this particular appliance. Okay, so this is a massive parallel processing. This is not a parallel file system, but this is a massive parallel processing engine that we have in Starburst, which helps to materialize the views and the aim that you have within the environment. It has got better performance, better connectivity, security. I'll talk about security in a bit. Okay, so let's think of a scenario like this. Say you can select a model, build it from the scratch, or you can select it from any of the offerings that you have in the industry, and then you can train the model as and when it is required, right? In both cases, with what data you train with your domain data. Domain data means company's data. Think that if the model gets exposed, model is a stochastic parrot, as I said. Anybody can come and probe it. I can also ask a question, somebody XYZ can ask a question. When they ask a question, it would answer based on your company's data. That means the model should not go out. So what is important there? Importance is security. Security can be looked at 3 levels: network level, application level, and storage level. And I'll leave it to you, but what I can tell you today is, without getting into the granular details, we have an offering on security too, to secure your entire data at all 3 levels, right? Then this is our services. Services, we have Dell services who can help you in understanding your needs, like what my peers explained, your use case that you want to achieve, and then ideally they can be with you, assess your environment, assess the data, classify the data. Probably they can go to an extent to even train the model that you want. So that is the services. That's the kind of services that we offer from Dell Technologies. So it has got a plethora of services and segments that we are offering. We can also talk about that in near future whenever you're interested. Last but not the least, I hail from unstructured data storage division of Dell Technologies. Why did I even talk about data, AI, and unstructured data storage? Is because for AI or for data, unstructured data storage products are most important because of certain reasons, and those are the storage devices and equipments which are powering your data management strategy and also AI strategy in any industry and the companies. So let me go slightly deeper into 2 products that we have under unstructured data storage division. This is about PowerScale. Today, in most of the AI's want, right? AI strategies, this PowerScale is used. Why it is used? Because it is a GPU direct storage. You can have GPU, of course, our partner AMD is here. You can have servers with the GPUs of AMD. It is going to increase your compute power. When you increase your compute power, you need the data to be supplied to that compute power with the same resonance and harmony, or else the compute power that you have increased by spending on it will not have an ROI because it will starve. That is called as GPU starvation. If you don't have the data to be supplied to the GPU that you build in your environment, it is going to starve. Just to avoid that, this is the purpose-built storage product for performance, for robustness, for scalability, and with the security that we offer for any AI need in the organization. Then comes the object storage that we have, which I've already spoken about, which is the need of the hour when it comes to data management. PowerScale for AI, object storage for data management. Think about this. Using these products, using this appliance, you are done and consolidated the data, right? You can train your AI models and you come up with a great AI strategy in near future. Think about the magic words: data management, AI, unstructured data storage to support you. Thank you so much. My time is up and I'll meet you next time with more of strategies. Thank you very much for giving me this opportunity.
Thank you, Mr. Karte, for highlighting the importance of data management in AI. Now, finally, to discuss the growing importance of bringing AI capabilities to the edge, let us welcome Mr. Gulshan Hera, Senior System Engineer, AI and Edge Specialist Team in APJ and GC from Dell Technologies to the stage. A big round of applause.
Good morning, everyone. Last presenters, everyone talked about data, so I will also talk about data a little bit. Right? Imagine that if you can turn all of your data into real-time insights. So you can increase your productivity, you can elevate your experience, customer experience, you can enhance your kind of efficiency. So this is all about AI at the edge. This is all about the your opportunity at the edge. My name is Gulshan Hera. So today we will talk about how to capitalize your AI investment or how to capitalize your AI insight at the edge. So first of all, the question is, what is edge? And why edge? And does it really matter for innovation? Okay. So there are a lot of ways to define edge. Here at Dell, how we define edge is where that data kind of a process near to that source of creation to drive the value out of that. So it's a series of locations. So what is your edge is based on what you do or what business you do or what vertical you are in. So if you are coming from the banking industry, your branch network is going to be an edge environment. If you are coming from the retail, or your retail environment or your customer experience app going to be your edge environment. If you're coming from kind of like a telco, so your base stations and all other things are kind of your edge. So today, only 33% of customers can turn this data into the real-time insights. But we see a lot of customers want to know about edge and they are kind of moving to edge as well. So that's what we are seeing. The 451 research confirmed that by 2027, more than 62% of compute will move out from the cloud and put that into the edge environment. Are you surprised? Okay, let me tell you why you should not be able to, kind of surprised. The thing is, this is a seismic kind of a technology happening. Whether you like it or not, whether we like it or not, this is going to happen to your business. And if you're not following that, then you will be left behind. So one of the reasons that real-time control and insight. So today, there are a lot of new use cases coming to the picture, need to have the data processed quickly, in a split second, right? So sometimes if that time kind of less than a millisecond, if that passed, no point of that data. Take example for the kind of automated car or self-driven car. You see someone, you have to take the action. If you didn't do that, then no point of having that technology, right? So the second thing is distributed devices. It's not a one location, it is a series of locations. So maybe you will have a multiple manufacturing plant, or maybe you have multiple bank branches. Or maybe you think about like a 7-Eleven, more than 1,000 locations in Malaysia, right? So it's a series of locations. The other thing is a large number of data. So I think Karthik talk about a little bit more, and data is generating so much today. I'll take one example. Think about things like a video analytics, right? So what it does, it just looking at something and try to predict or try to understand what is going to do this one. But today, the cameras are making kind of a 4K and 8K kind of a quality video. So you can't take that data and putting into this kind of architecture, send it back to the data center and process, come back. this is not going to work. Let me tell you. So think about example like automated cashier or like cashierless kind of a thing. You go, you take whatever thing you want and you leave it. So before you leave from that particular place, they have to understand what you purchased and they have calculate your bill and it has to be deducted. Or think about the ATM cameras. Capture you to understand whether you are in kind of a situation on a threat or you are in kind of a dangerous environment. Then it has to decide whether do I have to send this data or message to the security or not. So these things has to happen on a split second. So this architecture, it's not going to work. If you try, you can do it, but you have to spend huge amount of cost for that. So that is why we believe it's going to be something like this. So data has to process near to the source of creation. So that is why we need to put a compute storage network in all of those locations. So AI is a big word and AI is kind of changing everything. And AI putting a lot of pressure to the edge environment because as I mentioned, there are a lot of new use cases are coming in every day. Things like predictive maintenance, things like like anomaly detection and quality controls and all those kind of a new way of use cases will adapt in that. So one of the technologies kind of putting so much pressure is the AI inferencing. So maybe you're familiar about what is the inferencing. So Karthik talked about training part, right? So once you've done the training, you take that model and you have to put it into work, right? So where we do that, it's basically good to have the model near to the data rather than the data bringing to AI. I think you remember the first session that Sarah talked about bringing the data to the AI is not a good option. Bringing AI to the data is the perfect. Why? You have better security, you have a better experience on that, so you can do a quick processing. So let me give you one real world example that what we do with our partners. So you know, in world today, or actually by 2050, the train or rail transportation is going to be a kind of one of the safest and one of the most demand transportation. The reason is, you know, that is the lowest carbon emission transportation method in the world. So much of organizations, so much of countries are putting so much into the rail transportation. You can't take the train out of the circulation and go and do inspection. So today how this train basically check, you have to take it out from the current circulation and it will go into the depot and it will do the check by manually. So what one of our partners called Duostech, they kind of engaged with us and they created a real-time inspection portal. So while the train going on around 125 miles per hour, so it captured the data real time. It tried to identify like is there something wrong on this particular train, and if it is, it will quickly alarm it, and if they do this in a 360 manner, not just like an engine, everything. And what it does, actually, it increased more than 8 times kind of inspection accuracy compared to the manual checking, and increased 125 efficiency. So this is what Edge AI can do to you. Okay, let me give a quick example to one of the kind of familiar use cases. Think about the retail. So everyone go to shopping in weekends and do groceries, right? So I take this example. The first one, you can see the traditional way. Normally we go and we kind of get whatever we want and we go to the cashier and she or he will take it and check out. This is the normal way. But there's another organization, you can go, take whatever you want, put wherever you want and just walk away. Okay? So we said A and B. So if I ask from you, which retailer you would like to do the shopping weekly basis or monthly basis? Most of you say B, right? Because we get a good customer experience. You don't need to be in the queues and all those things. And 24/7 open. You don't need to like have man in there, right? So it has a lot of benefit as a customer you are getting. So what this actually taking the kind of edge AI, putting into the world, they have differentiate between their competition in their same field. So this is what it can do to you as well. Okay, so edge is not kind of a very simple place. It's a very scary place, and you need to have a proper planning, right? So the thing is like, it's not a single location, as I mentioned, multiple location, and you can't just manage it from single place. You need to have a proper strategy on that as well. The other thing is the security. So think today, maybe you have 1 or 2 data centers. If you want to protect those things, there's a physical security, no one can go into the data center, and the perimeter security, and you can do air gap, and all those sort of things you can do into the data centers. But think about, now edge means you have a location that outside from your data center, maybe 200, 300 kilometers, and it's not just one, maybe 100 locations. So you are expanding your surface attack area, so that now you have, instead of managing one, you have to protect all of these 100 locations or 1,000 locations. Because those locations now running your production workload, which directly connect back to your data centers. So what's the solution? You need to have proper planning on that. But despite of all of these challenges, we believe this is the time that you should get into the edge AI. So we have seen the customers are moving into that, and if you look at the Gartner's kind of, they predict these words and technologies, whether these are really hype things or these are kind of a productive things. So the Gartner confirmed last year that edge AI has less than 2 years to move out from the hype and go into the production. At the same time, if you look at the IDC confirmed, the buying hardware for the edge is almost double compared to the customer buying hardware for a cloud and data center. So I don't think you should wait, and you should directly look at it on your edge opportunity and kind of strategize those things. So when you go to that, you need to have a support. So this is where that we can help you to strategize your edge environment. So here at Dell, we kind of introduce 2 phases of approach. First, you need to have innovation or accelerate the innovation part of the edge. Then you need to have optimize of the edge environment. We'll quickly look at it, what is the innovation that we are looking at. I'm not going to talk about this. I think you have seen this slide multiple times today, and you know Dell AI Factory and all. So this is kind of our approach for our enterprise customers like you to get into the AI in a quick manner. Okay. So what AI Factory does, they take the data which mostly created at the edge in your mobile phone and all those things, right? And we wrap around those things with our infrastructure, the world-class infrastructure that we are ready to run AI workload, and combine with our ecosystem partners, right? Open ecosystem partners like AMD. And finally, our world-class services that take this raw data and convert into the next generation use cases. Things like content creation, things like digital twins, or things like computer vision. There's more than 900 use cases in the world today. I mean, with us we have with Dell. I think Sarah talked about that as well. So, how we bring this to edge? This is where the Dell native edge comes into the picture. So last year we introduced our edge orchestration platform that bring this AI factory to the edge environment. So we do this thing with the zero touch onboarding. So that means you don't need to send any of your IT person to all of your location. You just send the hardware, ask someone to connect to the network and power. You will manage it from the single location. And we do this thing with the secure trust onboarding. That means we are going to give you a guarantee that this particular server or the PC or the gateway will not compromise, or your application will run on a secure platform. And lastly, we do this thing in a multi-cloud manner. So as a customer, you love the experience that you are getting from the public clouds, right? So why not we give you an opportunity that deploy your application, whether you want to deploy it to the edge, or whether you want to deploy it to the data center or to your cloud environment in a single console. So this is all about native edge. Okay, so how we do this thing? A little bit technical, but I will simplify as much as possible. So we use the blueprinting.
I think you heard about blueprinting earlier that one of our speakers talked about, right? So the blueprinting, think this as think you want to bake a cake, right? So it's a simple thing, but everyone cannot do that, right? Because we don't know how to do. So, but someone come and tell you, okay, this is the recipe, now you follow it. So the recipe includes that how much time you have to bake it, what are the ingredients you need to have, and what is the process to do these things, and how much time you have to beat, and how much time you have to keep it in the oven. So it's simplified. In the same way, I'm going to simplify this complex application. You can see running at the edge. This is a video analytic application. What it does, it tries to capture the people, whether they are wearing safety equipment or whether they are in some kind of a danger, so they do video analytics. To deploy this application, I need 3 servers. Those servers need to run on Linux Ubuntu, and I need to deploy a container platform like Docker. Then I need to configure container orchestrations like Kubernetes. Then I deploy this application. Because today most of applications are containerized applications. It's a cloud native application. So to do that, you need to have all of these things in process, and you need a very experienced engineers at your practice. But if I can create a blueprint, YAML file, with all of these kind of steps, and put it into the Dell native edge, anyone can come and just put a couple of details, will be able to deploy this into locations. Not just the one location, we can deploy this into hundreds, if not thousands locations simultaneously, right? Without knowing what Kubernetes is. So that's the simplification we are trying to bring into here. So how we do this thing? This is the primary idea of the native edge. So you see the red color, this is the orchestrator. So this can deploy at your cloud environment, any cloud environment you have, or your on-premise, or even in a virtualized environment as well. So all of the devices with a server, PC, gateway will connect to this one. Then you have the application. These applications are ready built in our catalog. Think like a catalog is like your mobile app store. So if you want to deploy any app, you just go into the app store and deploy. In the same manner, all of these AI applications are in our catalog. These are validated by Dell. Let's say you have your homegrown application, no third-party application. So we are allowing you to put that also in the same catalog. So you can simplify your whole deployment through native edge using the blueprinting. So where are we going to deploy? We are going to deploy into the hardware. This hardware could be a server, or could be a PC, or could be a gateway. So now you'll be thinking about, hey, I have a server workload, how I'm going to deploy into the PC, how I'm going to deploy into the gateway. So that's where the native edge OS come in. So all of these devices will have a native edge OS, which decouple your application from the hardware. Any application you deploy into the edge, either it could be a virtual machine or it could be a container application. So now you may think about, okay, that means do I have to buy a hypervisor for these hardwares? Do I have to go to VMware or buy these things or Microsoft and all? So the answer is no. So the Dell Native Edge OS is basically can run any virtual machines, any container platform without paying any cents to do those kind of hypervisor. So it will give you a native capability to run virtual machines and container without depending on any hypervisor. So what's the best thing? It's come from Dell. So if something goes wrong, rather than you go talk to the hypervisor layer organization, you go to the Dell, right? So then maybe you have your own data centers running in VMware, own data center maybe running in the Kubernetes. So we are allowing you to connect our orchestrator to their locations as well. So now you can manage everything from that red box, whether it's running on the Google Cloud or whether it's running in your data center or running in the edge environment. So let me quickly show you how it's going to work. So this is a computer vision application. We are going to deploy in a quick manner. So what I'm trying to do, I'm trying to go and see that this is a server. See, you can see some of the GPUs are there. All of the GPUs you need to bypass or kind of pass through. the application is a computer vision application called Complex. So I'm just giving a couple of details like what is the name, what is the CPU size I need. Those are not a complex thing, right? So what it's trying to do, it's trying to deploy all of those things into this location in a couple of clicks. So now you can see the deployment is running, and what it's going to do, it's going to create a Windows virtual machines, install the Complex, all the deep learning application, and provide the drivers to that particular machine. So now you can run your machine learning at the edge, right? So you go and you can check it from the virtual machines. There are 2 virtual machines running on. Just now we deploy that. Go to the peripherals. You can see the GPUs are bypassed to the particular application, right? Either you can console it from the orchestrator or you can RDP into that one. So now it's running the quality control application at the edge. So you open it, what it does, it will check the PCB configuration, whether it's correct or not. If not, then it will provide some details, that metadata you can send back to the training model for the fine tuning. So this much simplification we bring with native edge. So we just deploy that whole AI application. Right? So next part, I talk about how we're going to optimize the edge. So this is a 5-step process. You need to select the right hardware. So when I say right hardware, all edge locations will not be the same. Some location, you have to mount the server into the wall. Some location, you need to run a workload in a PC. Some location, you need to have a cluster, right? So Dell will have all these things that we can provide. Second thing is the storage, very important. You need to have a storage that can run AI workload, not only AI, the other essential workload like database and all those things, right? Third one is the energy efficiency. So you have to think about the sustainability as a key thing when you move into the edge. Fourth one is the services. You need to have proper services, not just deploying a server and the OS, deploying whole ecosystem, your machine learning models, your IT/OT controllers, and everything. So Dell Pro Consulting Services will be able to do that. And last one, you need to have experience as a service. So this is where that, as a customer, we know you're very much liking about the public cloud, and you like about the agility on the public cloud, right? So why not we give that experience to co-location or the data center, even to the edge? So this is how we do that, Dell Apex. So rather than customers are kind of going to multi-cloud by default without thinking about all of these things, we encourage you to look at it as a multi-cloud by design. So our Dell Apex solutions will be able to help you do that. So before that, why Dell? There are a lot of things I can talk about, but one thing is edge and AI should not be a complex thing. So it has to be very simple, and it should not be a very expensive thing as well. So we have a huge ecosystem partner that can help you to achieve your target. And we have created shortcuts like AI Factory and Native Edge. Those things are simplifying your AI process to the edge. Last, I want to end my session with a true question. Think about what is your edge strategy, or what is your AI at the edge strategy? Do you have it today? If not, identify it. So what target or what outcome you want to achieve in the next 6 months? And the second thing, is what are the pain points that you have or you're currently facing in your environment, whether it's coming from AI or whether it's coming from the AI at the edge. So get ready those 2 answers and talk to us. Hopefully we'll be able to help you with that. Thank you so much.
Ladies and gentlemen, please give it up to Mr. Gulshan for the insightful presentation. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, we have come to the end of today's event. We hope that you have gained valuable insights into how Dell Technologies and AMD is accelerating your AI journey. Now, before you leave, please help us to scan the QR code on the screen, right over here, for you to share your feedback with us so that we can always improve our future events and make this type of sessions better for you. Now, once you have completed the feedback form, kindly screenshot the completion page, show it to our crew at the reception area, and redeem an exclusive door gift for yourself. For guests who drive here, kindly scan the QR code provided to enjoy a flat rate of 16 ringgit. So I know that you guys are doing the feedback form, so perhaps you can open your camera app, take a photo of this QR code so that you can make the payment later, alright? Now, once you're done with everything, we invite you to make your way to the latest recipe located at level 5 for a delicious networking lunch to refuel and continue the amazing conversation. Also to our Muslim attendees, please remember to collect your exclusive F&B dining vouchers at the reception area prior to your departure. Once again, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for joining us today. We hope today's session has been a fruitful one for you. If you have any questions, our Dell experts will be around to assist you and answer your queries. And with that, this is Agnes signing off. Pleasure being your MC today, and we hope that you can enjoy the rest of the day. And thank you so much. Hope to see you in the next one. Thank you.